vascular. So besides being a registered pharmacist for the past 2+ years, Miranda and I we are also into real estate, right? So we are agents with the Remax Real Estate Group, and we also own the company Hygeia Medical Solution. And as Terry said, all of this started for me just solely based on compounding because I enjoy compounding. Now, the the idea of starting a business based on compounding, I think was unknowingly in my mind since probably year one or year two of pharmacy, where we had a same special lecture similar to this um, in UE, where we had about 2 or 3 young individuals, 2 or 3 young pharmacists. They were probably, if in their early 30s, they were probably just in their late 20s, right? And within their discussion, my mind was blown. Reason being, these guys emphasized on how difficulty their BSc pharmacy was, which was 4 years of studying. And then they told us that, we did 4 years of pharmacy. And what the three of us do now for our occupation or as our job, as their business, is that they make soaps. So when they told me that they make soaps, I was thinking, why would I do 4 years to get a BSc in pharmacy, or why did they do 4 years to get a BSc in pharmacy to then make soup, right? So the reason why I'm telling you this is because the process of making soup and all stems straight back to compounding, right? A little bit on the retail side, where I work, right? I work at Ali's Pharmacy. I work in 4 of the 5 branches, right? Within Ali's Pharmacy, if anybody here knows Ali's Pharmacy, right? Ali's Pharmacy is one of the only pharmacies that does compounding. If you go to any other pharmacy with a prescription to get a compounding done, be it, let's say, Kappa Drugs or any of these other small pharmacies, there's probably a 75 to 90% chance that they will turn you away because they don't do compounding, right? Why I'm saying this is because I would have thought back then as a student, compounding is something that a pharmacist should do. Whereas when you go into the real world now, there are multiple pharmacists out there that shy away from compounding, right? And within this profession, compounding is something that you would have to do on a weekly basis, right? So um, before I continue, a question that I want to ask you is that what do you know about compounding? Anybody could answer. What do you know about compounding? Anyone? What do you know or understand about compounding? Everybody have butterflies?
Hi, Andrew. Kimberly here.
Yes, Kimberly.
Okay. So basically, we started off an introduction with compounding. Didn't know
Yeah.
compounding until the class. Well, I understand that compounding would be the process of taking different components of drugs to make a whole new drug, you can say. And it's for the reason being where a patient may have maybe an allergy to one single component, maybe, or let's say for a particular
Very good.
dosage to compile
Yeah,
the
very good.
components to make a particular dosage of drugs. And that's what I
Mhm.
think I understand by what compounding is.
So Kimberly, seeing that you may be the spokesperson for the group tonight, right? I want to tell you, it's very brave for you to keep answering questions, and one of the reasons that you gave was actually you hit the nail on the head, right? So, reason for compounding could be that what the doctor prescribed, there's no dosage form for that particular item on the market. So, a common one that we would see is a zinc suspension that doctors would normally prescribe from Port of Spain General Hospital, or even a fluconazole suspension. those items are not available on the market. So now, imagine you have a prescription for your child, right, for fluconazole suspension, and you're going from pharmacy to pharmacy, and pharmacists are telling you that they don't do compounding. Where will you go? What would you do? Right? So this is how important compounding is, and pharmacists need to embrace compounding. Now, one of the reasons why people may shy away from compounding is that one of the key risks within compounding is calculation error. And besides being a real estate agent, a pharmacist, owning a business, during my 4 years of pharmacy, Miranda and I were actually teachers as well, right? We had our own tuition courses going on in which we did mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology, right? And within that 4 years, we saw that mathematics was not just a problem for children, but also for adults, right? And if I'm saying that mathematics is a problem for children and adults, and now I'm telling you that one of the major risks in compounding is mathematics, and also that pharmacists shy away from compounding, it means that our pharmacists may have a problem with mathematics, hence my mathematician to my side. Not saying that I have a problem with compounding because I do it every week, right? So, purpose for compounding, as Kimberly said, the person may have some allergy to one of the ingredients in that suspension. So then we have to compound it for them. Or my favorite reason for compounding is that instead of generalizing a treatment for individuals, we then have a specific and modified treatment for this person. This treatment is based on their body weight. This treatment is based on whatever it is we're trying to treat this individual for, right? And I think that eventually we need to move away from generalized treatment, and we need to have medication based on individual specific treatment for individuals, right? For those of you all within the medical field, you would know that for something as basic as hypertension, right, most of the treatment is generalized. However, let's say blood pressure level of 130 over 85 or 90. That may be normal for me, whereas that is high for you. However, once I go and do regular checkups, I would be diagnosed with hypertension. Again, that is generalized, it's not specific to that particular individual, right? So that's a reason again why compounding is very interesting, right? All of us need to embrace it, right? And don't shy away from the mathematics within compounding, right? Um, for those of you all within the medical or pharmaceutical field, um, what could I tell you all? Let me give you a little insight of Hygeia Medical Solutions. Or does anyone have any other questions? Kimberly, anybody messaging questions for you to ask? No?
No.
All right. So, into Hygeia Medical Solutions, which will be the business that Miranda and I started, right? A quick synopsis of HMS. So I'll do it year by year. Within the first year of HMS, I blew away our entire capital, right? Within the start of the business, right? Um, Also, that capital was blown away marketing one product. However, I'm very glad that Dr. Gavaskar was mentioned just now that even though you're a farm tech, it doesn't mean that you can't own a pharmacy. Reason being, after the first year of blowing away the entire capital, Within the second year, the beginning of the second year, Miranda got more involved. I also had two pharmacists that got more involved within HMS as well, and also actuarial scientist, right? He was very interested within the business. So for that second year, within the first 2 to 5 months of the second year, we had probably an addition of 5 to 6 new, okay, 4 to 5 new products. And within that time period, we made back the entire capital with profits, right? So that's a little bit of HMS within the first and second year. For the third year of HMS, we'll be going into the third year, February 2021, right? I have a lot of plans for 2021 that some of you all may be interested in, and we'll have to talk to Terry about it as well. But I would save that for the end of the presentation, right? Okay, so besides the calculation aspect, which causes risk in compounding, what else do you all think may cause a risk to extemporaneous compounding? Anyone could answer. Any suggestions, any ideas? What do you all think?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Um, I would think um, a aseptic environment,
Nice.
um, contamination, something like that. I don't know.
No, that's very good. That's one of the 3 points I have. So that is very good. Right, I have one more bullet point here that I want somebody else to get. So, of the three, I have a calculation error, I have a microbe contamination, and there's one other thing I have listed. Anybody could answer.
Hi.
Hi,
Okay. I'm just setting it off the bat here. First thing that came to my mind, I'm thinking human error. I'm
good.
not sure. Yeah, human
Yeah,
error.
that's good as well.
Yeah.
Somebody said it's not FDA approved. That's a very good one as well. So that is when we get more into the business aspect of it. Anyone else? Okay, so the other point I have is formulation failure, right? And that is something that we are still undergoing, right? Formulation failure. So this could be caused by either chemical instability or physical instability. Now, they are basic formulations that you may try. And I mean, as we do, so I'm linking compounding to our business now, right? Now, when we do compounding in school, everything is in a controlled environment. Whereas now, as we're trying to manufacture and distribute, we have to have expiration dates. We have to make sure our stuff don't become contaminated. We have to make sure it's stable. That was one of our major pitfalls, and sometimes it still is. Sometimes we may do well when we just started, we would do multiple tests. We would have test one straight to test four, five, six, and when you think that test six or test seven was the perfect product and it's stable, and you decided, okay, I'm going to do a big batch of this product. People is requesting this product, and you do a big batch, and guess what? The product is unstable. right? But going into business, that is something you have to face as well, right? However, if any one of you all do decide to take compounding and turn it into a business, what I would tell you all is that you have to be motivated, you have to be determined. Being an entrepreneur means that you'll be dealing with failure on a daily basis, but it must be something that you really, really, really want to do, right? Um, I'm still in work clothes, right? Reason being, I would finish work at 5. I would have to go and drop off products, do deliveries, come home, do a lecture, and then I have multiple deliveries to do tomorrow as well. Some of the products are done already, some I still have to go and make, right? So getting into business is especially something like compounding. You need a lot of determination, and you need to surround yourself with persons who are like-minded, right? And that is not just for business. That could be let's say just to pass an exam this semester or to finish a BSc to become a pharmacy technician, right? Any questions? Your questions could be related to pharmacy, compounding, it could be related to the business. Any questions across the board?
Hi,
Good night.
good night. My question is, um, Dr. Gavaskar told us that we can, broaden our horizons and open a pharmacy if we so choose.
Yes.
And um, pharmacy technicians can do that. Um, However, we need a pharmacist um, along with us. Um, my question, as you said, the business side, because
Mhm.
that business is my specialty.
Okay, yeah.
Um, how feasible is that? Because pharmacists are very expensive.
Correct, yeah.
They get paid a lot. So, how feasible is that as a pharmacy tech to open a pharmacy and hire a pharmacist?
I would say it is as feasible as you want it to be, right? It depends on the kind of business plan you're working with. It depends on the type of pharmacy or reputation you want to build. It depends on if you're doing it alone or if you're going to have a pharmacist on your team in which you don't have to pay the individual, right? The answer to that question depends on a number of things, right? I am 100% sure, and Dr. Gavaskar is 100% certain as well, and we know that a pharmacy technician could open a pharmacy, right? Miranda, this is Miranda right here. Miranda is doing her degree in mathematics. Miranda is one of the co-owners of a business based on a pharmaceutical aspect, which is compounding, right? So the answer to your question is, it is as feasible as you want it to be. I think so. Yes, some pharmacists do rent out their license. Um, I wouldn't go into to the salary or the amount they charge to rent out their license, but I believe in if you're going to open a pharmacy as a pharmacy technician or let's say any other business person with a lot of aspirations, you could get a pharmacist within your team, or you would have to just um, pay the expense of just, it's not that much for a license. The only thing with that is that if you're hiring someone to license your pharmacy, remember um, that person now, the only thing that they may take charge of is the books, the antibiotics, the control, the narcotics. Reason being, their license is dependent on that. So that pharmacist would not give you any beneficial insight or recommendations as to what you may need to do to move your business from the entry stage to the growing stage. That is why I'm recommend that you get a pharmacist on your team, right? And it will work out. Any other questions? I hope I answered your question, Kiva. Any questions on pharmacy, Hygeia Medical Solutions, compounding, health on the whole? Any questions? Okay, so what I would do is I would let Miranda introduce some of the products. Reason being, I've been talking a lot, and Miranda is sitting down here quiet in the corner. Right, so I would let her introduce the first brand that we created. Then I would introduce the second one, and also show you all some others that we have as well. Right.
Good night, everybody hearing me? Yeah.
Yeah, everyone hearing you, Miranda.
Okay, so we have a hair steamer, which is this one, right? So the hair steamer is usually what you use to steam your hair, especially if you have really dry or brittle hair. You could put it in your hair for half an hour to 45 minutes. You put on a hair cap. What it does, it helps your hair to absorb the moisture when you do wash it out. So you use this, you wash it out with a normal shampoo and conditioner, and then you use your moisturizer or your hair or your grease or whatever you are custom using in your hair. It helps trap the moisture into your hair so that your hair gets more nourishment. We also have a hair moisturizer, which we would recommend that you use right after you use the hair steamer, right? And we also have a hair and scalp conditioner, right? So you can use all these three products in your hair. Some people tend to use the moisturizer more. In my case, I like to use the moisturizer more than the hair and scalp, and Andrew likes to use the hair and scalp more than the moisturizer. It depends on your hair type that you have, and it's all natural, so it has no sulfates or anything that will cause breakage or damage to your hair. It's all natural product, and exactly what is on the label is what we have in the products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a little bit about the one of the first brand that we built, or that we are building. So the name of the brand is Levita, which means the innocent one, right? So we recently did over our labels as well, right? So this would be the new steamer label, right? And the labels just now emphasize on how natural the brand is. The products have no sulfate, no paraben, no coloring, no petroleum, etc. Right? So it's really lovely for individuals who appreciate a natural brand. Also, the products are going for close to nothing at the moment. Reason being, we are not so much focused on profits at the moment, but we are focused on getting the name out and building our brand, right? This one I want to show you all is a product I'm going to supply to a lady tomorrow, right? So this is Levita hair, scalp and root treatment. Now this is a formula that I actually, well, it is a tweaked formula that I had to compound when I was in either year 2 or year 3. That would be about 4 years ago. This was when I was just I was a pharmacy student, and I was working in super farm, right? And doctor prescribed salicylic acid and olive oil to treat an inflamed scalp, right? So the Levita scalp and root treatment is a formula based on this. One of the key ingredients is salicylic acid, and the other ingredient is olive oil, right? Now, persons may think, or let me ask, well, let me retract. Persons may think that when they have what's the word, boy? Dry scalp, right? That they have dandruff, right? So I wanna ask you all, what do you know dandruff to be? Anybody? What do you know dandruff to be?
You can type the comments if you don't want to speak.
Okay, so dandruff could either be as simple as okay, yes, we have a business page. We are on Facebook and Instagram as well, right? Yes, it is flaky also. Correct any comments. So dandruff could be based on a fungus in the scalp, or it could be as simple as just inflammation of the scalp, right? Normally, the cosmetic line of treatment for dandruff, you would just treat inflammation in the scalp, which is what this new product is based on, right? So the customer I'm delivering to tomorrow, right? She does have dry scalp. She she has a few bald patches to the front of her hairline. So that is what I'm going to meet with her tomorrow, counsel her about, and also assist in treating, right? Some of our other products, right? We recently, yeah, yes, Jade replied, oil and dirt clogging the pores in your hair. Correct as well. Correct as well, right?
No.
No, none of our products contain sulfur, right? And Miranda did a lot of extensive research in sulfur. I even got buffed at times, right? So none of our products contain sulfur, right? No, aspect of the compounding and business that I found very interesting, right, is that when you're going out there and you're meeting persons, you're marketing, etc. I met a guy, right? And basically, what I am doing now from starting my business 2 years ago, blowing away all the capital within 1 year, now I am going to be supplying this individual here. Now I'm going to be supplying this individual with his own products. So we are designing, compounding or manufacturing his branded products to him for him to now sell to his customers, which I find is a very big step for our company. So besides, we are not just going to make a product and go out there and hustle. Because remember, I have an 84 job, which I would say takes about 10 to 12 hours of the day, right? Miranda is studying, she's in her last year for degree. We do not have time to go out there and run down individuals for a sale. So this new aspect of our business, I believe, not I believe, I know is going to explode because from this very first product that we are now designing for this artist, for him to push to his customers, we would then extend our reach to other artists, right? And within that medium now, the company will get an exponential improvement in development. So I'm just going to show you all the product. All right. So question from Kiva, can that be used if someone has psoriasis in the scalp? Correct. This could be used for someone who has psoriasis in the scalp, right? Um, one of our business partners, he's supposed to be here in our meeting tonight, but he couldn't be here, right, due to emergency. He developed the newest brand of HMS, which is Ozias, right? So Ozias is going to be, well, Ozias is a local natural brand that we are building specifically for men, right? So Levita is more a unisex brand, and we're now going to have Ozias specifically for men. So you all will be seeing more of Ozias. And something very interesting about Ozias is that after we had long debates of using this name, we then found out that Ozias means strength from God, which I find is very excellent. Right? So Ozias means strength from God. Look out for Ozias, look out for Levita products. I know. So this is one of our other products. The name of it is Bed Sorex, right? Bed Sorex came about from doing compounding in work as well. It is antimicrobial ointment used for bed sores, bed sorex, right? So now some of the more used or recognized brands or products on the market for bed sores would be, for example, your elmesitran. However, if someone has a microbial infection in their bed sore, they would need a product like Bedsorex to get rid of those microbes before using elmesitran or for any of those type of products. Just replying to the comments. Okay. Um, a little more about compounding. Some of the key compoundings that we get on work would be a GTN 0.2% ointment, right? So you all could write it down. GTN 0.2% ointment, fluconazole suspensions, zinc suspensions, and also doctors may ask us to do a Cutivate and let's say a E45 in a 3-to-1 part. Right, so if you all have any questions or any queries concerning how do you go about making these type of products, these type of extemporaneous compounding, how do you go about doing the calculations, you all could ask me as well. All right, so I'll just pause in case anyone have any questions again. Right, so remember your questions could be based on pharmacy, health, compounding. It could be based on Hygeia Medical Solutions. Question from okay, I'll still go through it. Question from Kimberly, right? In terms of sourcing ingredients, we source most of our natural ingredients from Mustafa's. However, we purchase it from them wholesale, right? We also have a few other distributors that we work with. In terms of sourcing ingredients and material for our business, one of the main challenges were sourcing containers, right? However, now we have a lot of containers. Any other questions? Any questions concerning retail pharmacy? So a question, what was the biggest error you all ever made compounding, and how did you deal with it or rectify it? Error in compounding.
I don't think we made any errors.
Within my practice, me personally, I have not made any big errors within compounding, right? Um, my mentor, or the guy that I trained under, right? That would be Sean Vincent from the Capsule Corner in St. James, right? He have over 10 to 15 years of experience, right? He helped build the compounding aspect um,
Um,
of Ali's, right? So I actually trained under him, right, to increase my knowledge on compounding, and then I more or less ran with it. Another thing is that with any compounding, to me, most errors come within calculations, right? I personally never had any problems with mathematics. Miranda and I love mathematics as well, right? So errors within compounding, there weren't really any for me to rectify. Probably I had a few errors within the minor errors within calculations, but when you're now getting into compounding, you always have someone oversee your calculations. So within my first 6 months, which would have been a pre-reg, or and also within the first year of practicing pharmacy, I would have had my mentor oversee all my calculations and also monitor me throughout the entire process, right?
how many hours of a pharmacist or a pharmacy technician usually?
Right, so question from Kiva.
No.
Huh? Yeah.
Oh no, this part here.
Yeah, so question from Kiva. How many hours does a pharmacist and a pharmacy technician work? Um, your pharmacist may work anywhere between 6 to 10 hours a day, right? But again, it depends on the setting. If I am opening my own pharmacy, I am the core pharmacist within that pharmacy. Trust me, I would have to be there 10 to 12 hours a day, right? However, if Kiva is hiring me to just license her pharmacy because she wants to start her own business, well, guess what? I would be there once a week. So it depends on the scenario, right? For your pharmacy technicians. Now, I'm glad you asked about pharmacy technicians, right? I don't want you to think that being a pharmacy technician, that let's say you can't do compounding or you should limit yourself. Reason being, when I just started in Ali's, besides learning from the pharmacist on duty, I also learned a lot from the pharmacy technicians, right? I would tell you all boldly that after 4 years, 4 years of doing a pharmacy degree, getting your BSc in pharmacy, you're now a pharmacy student or you're a pre-reg pharmacist, you still don't know everything. You're going to learn from those same pharmacy technicians. So your pharmacy technicians have a lot to contribute and do within the pharmacy. I still learn after 2 years of pharmacy. I still learn from my pharmacy technicians. Reason being, as a pharmacist, I I don't only have to ace and know everything within the dispensary, but I also have to know everything within retail as well. Our pharmacy technicians are the ones who would try to ace and promote the retail. However, the pharmacist, I have to know both. So I will be learning from you, and I always welcome pharmacy technicians to learn from their pharmacists as well. My experience in Superfarm, right? They classify their farm techs on a level of 1 to 3, right? Now, depending on your work experience, how well they perform, as you go from level 1 to 3, you're then allotted more task and more responsibility. So when you reach the level of a Farm Tech 3, guess what? You will be doing compounding, right? So being a farm technician, don't ever limit yourself. The only thing I believe that you would need to do is build trust or build that relationship with your pharmacist, letting him know that he could depend on you, right? So you could do compounding, you could you could receive goods, you could order goods, you could basically do all the functions within the pharmacy. The only thing that I would have strict rules on is that anything pertaining to antibiotics, controlled narcotic drugs, your pharmacist must be the one to dispense those items, right? That is the at least one of the strict rules that I go by. Technicians are not supposed to dispense antibiotics, controlled, and narcotics. Right? Any other questions?
She also asked, does someone have to be an A+ student in maths to be good in compounding? No, you don't. Right? Maths is something you practice. I think they're hearing me. Maths is something you practice. Maths is not something you learn off. So with constant practicing of the calculations in your compounding, you'll eventually get good at it and you would know the calculations offhand eventually to be able to make it easy for you to actually do it.
Right? So that answer from Miranda was very excellent because most of the fear within compounding, as you said before, it all stems back to mathematics, right? And this could stem as far back as to just primary school, right? It is something that you cannot learn off.
So yes, he's hearing.
Okay, it is something that you cannot learn off, and you have to do constant practicing, constant practicing. Um, Miranda is always practicing mathematics, right? So, question again: what were the requirements to work as a farm tech in Superfarm? In year two, when I applied to Superfarm, my interview was a 3-hour interview, right? We went through the basic questions. They went through my resume. They asked me questions based on my resume, questions based on past job experience, and then they would ask you questions based on the dispensary items, right? So they would ask you, let's say, what items do you have to keep in the fridge, or um, what items, or list, give me a list of 5 antibiotics. Or they would ask you, if someone walks into the pharmacy and they say they have a diarrhea, what would you recommend, right? So those kind of questions they would ask you, and from there they would determine if you're fit to be a pharmacy technician, and from there they would also tabulate what level in terms of a pharmacy technician they would allot you. So be it from pharmacist 1, 2 to 3. Any other questions? So, Dr. Gavaska, is there any points that you want me to go over, or anything I missed that you would like me to talk about? Dr. Gavaska, I've seen a question here. I believe the answer to that question is no, right? Right. So, what does a farm tech do if someone comes into the pharmacy with a prescription? Where I work, you take the prescription, you walk to the dispensary, and you give it to the pharmacist. However, it all depends on the organization you're in again, right? Right. So, question from Kiva again. Well, everyone could see the question, right? What does a pharmacist do if someone comes into a pharmacy with a prescription for antibiotics? Now, this question is a very sensitive question. And I believe the way you worded the question, I think you wanted to go to the extent of asking what is the technician supposed to do if a pharmacist is not there? Is that what you wanted to ask?
Yes.
Yes. Right. So now, if a pharmacist is on duty and depend on the relationship again, I know some pharmacists allow their technicians to write up the prescription. They may even allow the technician to pack the items. However, again, the pharmacist must be the one to go over the label. He must check the strength of the item. He must check the amount that is placed on the bag. He must be the one to dispense the item, right? And the reason why I'm saying that again is because pharmacy technicians are not supposed to dispense antibiotics, controlled items, and narcotics. Now, we know it is a practice that happens in Trinidad and Tobago, right? However, it is not supposed to be that way, right? In the case of an incident, right? Let's say the wrong item is given, something happens to the customer or the patient, right? Who do you all think would be the one held responsible at the end of the day if something happens? Let's say I am a technician. Um, I'm supposed to give Augmentin 625. However, I gave Augmentin 1 gram. The customer gets severe diarrhea, right? The person gets very ill. The person ends up in ICU, etc. Miranda is the one with the license up on the antibiotics cupboard. Who do you think will be held responsible? Anyone?
Correct.
The pharmacist. Correct. And now that is what I spoke about. There must be trust between the pharmacist and the technician, right? Um, I would allow my technicians to write the labels. I may even allow them specific technicians to pack the items. However, they know that I must check those items and I am the one to dispense the items as well, right? Even to go a little beyond Kiva's question, let's say we get a script and a script, let's say doctor prescribes Zitromax 1 gram 3 times a day. Right, so somebody asked about errors earlier. This was the only error that I encountered as a pre-reg pharmacist, right? It was similar to this. Doctor prescribed Zitromax 1 gram was either twice or 3 times a day that doctor prescribed it for, right? However, when you go into the leaflet for Zitromax or Azithromycin, you would see that the max dosage you give is normally 1 gram a day, right? However, what we practice in pharmacy is that at the end of the day, a pharmacist must screen all items. So me as a young pharmacist, I did dispense the item as doctor prescribed, thinking, well, doctor knows it all, right? And yes, our doctors are brilliant. However, doctors are humans and they do make mistakes as well. So we always have to scrutinize each prescription from the very top to the bottom. You just don't watch what is written in the middle. You read from the doctor's information to the top, patient's name, straight down to where the doctor signs, right? However, I did not know better at the point in time when my senior pharmacist checked the prescriptions in the evenings. When he screened the prescriptions, he saw where I gave, let's say, 10 azithromycin 1 gram. Whereas what's supposed to be done is that you're supposed to call a doctor to confirm the dosage. And when we then call a doctor to confirm the dosage, It was actually supposed to be 1 gram once a day and not twice or 3 times daily, right? Now, if I made that mistake and again something happened to the patient, I am not a pharmacy technician, I am a pre-reg pharmacist, who would be held responsible again? That person will be the licensing pharmacist, right? And that is how far you have to take it when we talk about technicians or even pre-reg or young pharmacists dispensing items. Any or all repercussions fall straight back to the licensing pharmacist.